I predicted the New Orleans Saints to go 12-4 in 2019. I believed they would be the number one seed in the NFC, and I really thought they were going to be a Super Bowl team. You know, they almost made it in 2018. They had that game where they lost in the championship game to the Rams. They had that game where they had that should have been a pass interference. It wasn't called. That cost them a trip to the Super Bowl. I thought that in 2019 last year, they were going to come back for revenge and make it to a Super Bowl. And they had a great offensive line, a great roster, a great defensive line, a great quarterback, great coach, Sean Payton. And they had this great, incredible receiver, Michael Thomas. And the reality of the 2019 New Orleans Saints season is that it's all about how it ended. They went 13-3, which is even better than I predicted they would do. But they ended up being the number 3 seed in the NFC. And basically, they lost their 2 biggest games of the year. The 2 times where they had to win, they lost. And oddly enough, both of those losses came at home. So it all started for them in Week 14. They lost to the San Francisco 49ers 48-46 on a last-second field goal. And that cost them a shot at being the number 1 seed. You know, the Packers, the 49ers, and the Saints, they all went 13-3. And that game pushed them down to the bottom of those 3 teams. That's why they had to play a game in the wild card. And, the Saints lost in overtime in the wild card round to the Minnesota Vikings. They lost 26-20. And here's what's really sad. The sad reality of that game is that they should have won. They had the ball at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, 4 minutes and 26 seconds left. But Drew Brees fumbled and gave the ball back to the Vikings. That cost them a really big possession and cost them a chance to score. And so there were 2 really big moments this past year for the New Orleans Saints where they were really, really close, but they couldn't finish at the end of a game. They lost by a hair to the 49ers Week 14, and they lost at the end of the game in the playoffs to the Minnesota Vikings. And it's sad, man. I really thought that the New Orleans Saints were going to be a Super Bowl team. I thought they were Super Bowl bound, and they were so close, but they just missed. They just barely missed twice. And what I was most sad about was that we didn't get a rematch. That 49ers Saints game, Week 14, 48-46, last-second field goal. I mean, that was one of the best games of the year. I mean, really, to me, some of the best games of the year all included, it was like the 2 times the 49ers played the Seattle Seahawks, and then that game, Week 14, where the 49ers played the Saints. I mean, basically, the 49ers gave us some of the best games of the year, but I so badly wanted an NFC Championship game between the Saints and 49ers, and we didn't get it. I was so sad. Now, it is worth noting, in that Week 14 game, Saints defensive end Marcus Davenport got hurt. He missed the rest of the season after that. That certainly did not help their chances at making a Super Bowl. But I was just sad, man. The Saints came so close and didn't make it, and I'd love to see them make a run again next year at the Super Bowl. I don't know if they can, but I thought they were a team that was Super Bowl bound, and it just didn't happen. And I was really sad for the Saints last year that it didn't. In case you don't know, Strong Opinion Sports is not just a YouTube channel. It is also a full audio podcast. You can find it on Spotify, on iTunes, on Google Play, pretty much everywhere you find podcasts. And if you like podcasts, please do me a huge favor and give it a listen.